as well.
Michelle, you're the parent of a teenager who identifies as trans. What was your child like when they were little?
She was like just this burst of energy, confident, strong-willed. But in year 6, her mental health declined quite rapidly, with her having a psychotic episode where she dissociated and harmed herself. And following the ER visit, we realised that we needed some professional help.
You took your child to a public mental health centre. Your child then gave you a letter explaining that they're transgender. What did that letter say?
It was a short letter saying that my daughter identifies as male. My daughter being 12, 13. My husband and I were both shocked, but we told her we loved her and we supported her, but we didn't understand when she's stereotypically always been a girl and never experienced distress around her gender.
And the mental health professionals your child had been seeing, what did you think about their response?
Disrespectful. They immediately affirmed the transgender identity. They would not enter a conversation about it with me, other than to tell me that I needed to educate myself, and they wouldn't have a philosophical discussion. My daughter will always be my daughter. If she wants to cut her hair short, if she wants to wear boys' clothes, that's fine. But for her to think that that means that there's something wrong with her that needs fixing is, I personally feel, damaging to her mental health, especially considering she's experienced psychosis, hallucinations, anorexia, all things that are distorted beliefs.
How did that anorexia diagnosis come about?
Unfortunately, her GP, the psychiatrist, and the clinic all missed it. I don't know if they even ever asked my daughter about her eating habits. As soon as
I have heard that last statement so many times.
Hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of times. It's just everything else gets ignored. Every little aspect of every part of their mental health gets ignored completely. And you're a bigot and you're an abuser and everything else. If you
educate yourself.
Educate yourself,
I sure have.
Yeah, so much. It's the standard. It is the standard. So, I know later they're going to talk about how, everyone went through months and months of counselling and stuff. It's garbage. It's garbage. Even the clinics, the FOIs show that they don't go through months and months of counselling. There is no counselling. They don't care. The second, if there's any other comorbidities, and most of the kids have got significant comorbidities. A lot of them are autistic. Some of them have had been sexually assaulted and things, and they've never, that's completely ignored. They don't get rape trauma counselling or anything like that. They go through all the standard, post-rape kind of reactions, that you see, everywhere, and that's all completely ignored. So many have had psychotic episodes, so many are anorexic, so many end up in, high security mental health facilities, so many, and yet it's completely ignored. The only thing is gender.
How many times have you seen a picture of a young girl who's had a double mastectomy and she's covered in scars from trucking?
Everywhere. Yep.
The same thing. There's some sort of trauma, whether it's a death in the family, whether it's the breakup of parents, whether it's been bullying. There are all these complex traumas in the background, and all the signs are ignored. Gender is focused on, and the parents are told you're unsupportive, you're transphobic, you're bigoted, you're hateful, and the family unit is fractured when the family is the most important people who will support a young person in distress. And to have your child alienated by health professionals is the most egregious act of it's so willful what is being done to families here. The parents who will not believe the lie that their child is somehow in a wrong body.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of it, you know, there's no presentation of anything trans until an event happens, and then all of a sudden they're thrown in, and within 3 to 6 months, you know, all of a sudden there's some trans, you know, whatever, you know, identity they've chosen, you know, to identify as. But it's all ignored. Everything's ignored.
Yeah.
You know, we know that you know, like there's people with family histories of you know, significant psychiatric illness like schizophrenia and stuff like that. We know the hormones make all those things worse, and yet they don't care.
Yeah, it's basically the counselling that they provide supposedly is counselling onto the gender bus.
Yeah, how to integrate into society as a lie.
And, you know, and get rid of your family.
And get rid of your parents.
You won't need them. You won't need them. We're your new glitter family. And the government will give your child money to
run away. Yeah.
Run away and go and live in government-funded, supported housing, and where they run into trans adults who abuse them. And, it's...
And I mean, this is kids that are actually, you know, intellectually disabled too. You know, it's not just even the kids that have got high IQs. Intellectually disabled kids are being transed, you know, because they suddenly hit 18, and it doesn't matter if they've got a mental capacity of a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old. The age says 18, and so presto, yep, another one to add to the, you know, add to the trans pile kind of thing. It's absolutely just disgusting, and it's not just the parents that are harmed. It's not just the kids. It's the siblings. It's all the extended family. It's everything. It's horrendous. Yeah, which is again why the whistleblower thing drives me insane, because, you know, they've hurt so many kids, but it's not just those kids. It's the social contagion effect. So one kid's being transitioned, and then they go to school, and then the others see how much attention they get, how much they're love bombed, you know, how much their whole social standing is, you know, on a pedestal because they're the trans kid. Everything goes their way, sort of thing. And so the others kind of go, oh, I'm going to get in on this as well. And it just replicates and replicates and replicates. It's hideous. Yeah.
You just said something, Tess, about that they're teaching, they're counselling people to be, the kids to be gender, how do I put this? Sex typical for the sex that they're transitioning into. Are they doing that though, or are they doing the break down the family, smash gender, play gender?
They're helping them to fit in as their new trans persona. I know from, you know, our experience with, you know, my daughter that we were seeing, you know, sent her to see a therapist and stuff. I mean, yes, the therapists were helping to break down the family. So we get conversations, one-on-one conversations with the therapist where they say, I don't think your daughter's really trans. I think she's got all this other stuff going on. You know, we need to focus on getting her more resilient and all this sort of stuff. And so your language, your conversation, it's like, you know, you go, thank goodness somebody's heard what I've been trying to say. And, you know, so you talk to them about that. But then we found out later, like he was going back and telling my daughter, your parents say this. They're not really supporting you. They think this. They don't want you to transition. They think you're lying. You know, all of this sort of stuff to break in the wedge. And I mean, yeah, they're playing against parents the whole time.
Yeah, there's a direct undermining of, and it's built into the theory of queer theory, the breaking down of the family.
Yeah.
Highly deliberate.
When the shit really hits the fan and everything goes to hell, and they're, you know, you've got a child that's broken, that's sick, that's, you know, everyone else has dumped them. I mean, you know, different people, you know, when they get too hard for their trans friends, and their glitter family gives up on them because they're too hard and stuff, and, you know, dumps them in a homeless shelter and stuff like that instead. Who are the ones that they call eventually because they need help? I mean, it's the parents, and the parents have got to go and pick up the pieces and stuff, which obviously, you know, most parents are quite happy to do because they're your child and you love them. But I mean,
no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. But you know, to have all this interference and to be made out like you're some evil villain in the meantime is just wrong.
We kind of need to stop collectively and pause for a second and think, hold on a minute, it took more than 1,000 years for Western civilization to develop to the point that it developed to get this successful. And all of that, all the way along, was built upon the nuclear family. There's a reason why those relationships are the most meaningful. They are the reason for existence, like replicating your DNA. It just is everything. There's nothing more important than your family. And
I mean, even the whole garbage. I mean, you hear trans activists and people saying all the time, oh, they get kicked out of their family unit and stuff. They don't. I mean, I spoke to a psych nurse recently who said, oh, most of the patients in our hospital are these poor trans kids that, their parents have kicked them out and, they have to couch surf and stuff. And you go, no, it's not. I mean, in all the times of everyone that I've ever met, in my 10 years of talking to parents about thousands of parents, I know one person who did get their son to leave the house, and that was because he became very, very aggro and beat up the mum. And she said, look, you're going to have to leave because she was scared.
So you have a teenage boy who is...
A big teenage,
bigger than her, stronger than her, becoming physically violent. And she's like, listen, like at this point, I have other kids that need to be protected.
Exactly that.
The reason that they say that, I presume, and this is a pretty educated guess, is that somewhere along the line, the parents have said, no, I'm not going to, take down your childhood photos from the wall.
But it's not even the no. It's the fact that you give into one thing, you give one little bit. So new chosen name, okay, I'll try, Pronouns are harder sort of thing. And that was my limit. Pronouns are harder. But I mean, at the end, it kind of eggs its way in and a little bit more at a time and a little bit more demands until you've got a kid saying to you, I want you to say that you gave birth to 2 male children. And you go, well, I'm sorry, I can't say that because it's not true, it's a lie. I've got, so many memories of you as a female, and I mean, you were definitely female. You can't just change someone else's history. Like it's impossible to do. Like the demands don't stop. So it's never just one little bit of a demand. There's a couple of people that I know that are going through, their kids are a little bit more reasonable, but most of them, it's the total demand that everything then stop and be entirely their way.
Yeah, so it's not that the parents are kicking the kids out.
Not at all.
The parents are offering the slightest amount of resistance, and the kids who have been trained at school and on social media and in queer clubs to be ever vigilant for any sign that their parents aren't 100% on board, which means automatically that they hate them and they don't want them to exist. Suddenly it blows up and it's like, this is unreasonable.